taking a negative and turning it into a positive is something that Jesus Christ did when he was on earth, and he was trying to show us to live by that example. He healed the leopards. The leopards back in the day, when they would touch you, you would become unclean. But Jesus Christ flipped the script, and when he touched them, they became clean. He didn't become dirty as a result. And in the Bible, Jesus consistently went to the things that were dirty, or the things that were sick, the things that were wrong, and he fixed it, and he made it good. We must take the negatives that are going on in our lives and not let it define us, not let it permeate into our existence or identity, not allow it to define us in our state of being, nor our future. You have to come to a recognition, the revelation that life will always be throwing you fastballs, curveballs. A lot of it, not all of it, a lot of it is problem-solving scenarios. Here comes another problem. Here comes another scenario where it has a negative spin to it. How are you going to hit this? We're not meant to be hit by it. We're meant to learn the art of turning a negative into a positive. This is the art of being molded by the Creator. And what that looks like is, okay, this is an opportunity for prayer. This is an opportunity for growth and development of my character, right? This is, in this place, I have to practice patience, long suffering, right? Our perspective of how we see anything here on earth, our perspective of it, will help us to triumph and go up in life, or be right there letting that thing triumph over us and trample us, right? For example, Jesus says that we are more than conquerors. He says that when we are more than conquerors, he gave us that title to live by and abide by and carry and own. But then you ask yourself, when you're going through a hard thing, you look at your circumstances and you say, well, it doesn't look like I'm more than a conqueror, right? And it's because you're letting the things, experiences, you're letting circumstances speak louder than what God's word told you that you are. So if you look at my shirt, it says, walk by faith and not by sight. And that's precisely what we have to do. We have to be not pessimistic, optimistic, right? This is the angle that we should attack life from. You're doing life, but always put faith into everything you're doing. You're praying about everything. Pray without ceasing. You're the salt of the earth. You're the light of the world. But if you don't believe that, then when darkness hits you, you're not going to illuminate the darkness. Does that make sense to you? So in other words, when there's darkness here, you're meant to be the difference maker. People look for a lamp in a dark place. They enter into a house and they're like, oh man, it's dark in here. Look, where's the light switch? They look for it. Jesus is saying you are that light switch, right? That people go to for security and safety and this and that. And you have to take on. Now, when you believe that and you're walking in it by practicing, meditating on the fact that that's who you are, when it's time to turn it on, it's there. But if it's a word, quote unquote, good word, and you don't believe it, then when you find yourself in a circumstance that highlights your character, highlights your identity, for you to come and be the difference maker there, you won't be that, because you never believed that you were from the get-go. So life itself will dictate what you really truly believe. You can hear something, agree with it, and not believe it. And God is into us believing. Jesus kept asking the people, do you believe? and then they would say yes or no, or I do believe but help my unbelief, right? The first thing we got to do is diagnose our belief system and really see where it is that we're lacking faith, and then pray about those areas before we ever come into a problem. Pray about everything inside of you that you see that is wrong, off, weak, so that when you find yourself in a stage of being tested, that's how you should look at it. This is a test. Okay? This is a test, and I want to pass it. That's how it is, guys. Every hard thing that in the Bible that people went through, it was a test. You know, Peter, Jesus spoke to Peter. He said, Satan has requested to sift you like wheat. He told Peter, but I have prayed for you. So then when you get out of this situation that's going to feel like a grim situation, dark and doom and gloomy, when you get out of it, go and strengthen your brothers. That was Jesus' words to Peter. Job, Satan went, he said, hey, that guy right there, you know, you have a hedge of protection around him. I can't get to him. You know, God's defending him. He's like, no, he's different. He's not, you know, he's righteous. He's like, let me test him. Let me see. I bet you anything, he lives for himself, just like all of them do. They all have that in common. They all want to take care of themselves, and they're just with you for the benefits. That was Satan talking to God. And God's like, nope, not Job. That right there all by itself should speak volumes to all of us and say, man, that's what the devil thinks about people. And that if the devil thinks that, and the devil's the enemy, that's not the way to abide in God for just the benefits of God. But there's got to be something really deeper, because when you go through hard things, right, and we all do, to test our character and this and that, when you don't get what you want, you're going to have to rely on something deeper in your relationship with God to carry you through, so that you don't feel offended by what it is that is lacking in your life in that season, right? And that's the underlining word here, is to convert negatives into positives, to always fuel your belief system, your faith, your lifestyle, your Christian lifestyle. Always be fueling it and feeding it, okay? And this is the beauty, guys. You get to dictate how you go about it, okay? Just like we choose the cars that we drive, we choose the houses we live in, you know, if you have the money or whatever. Just like we choose the shoes we wear and the clothes we wear and this and that, you get to choose also the type of mindset that's going to carry you through this life. You get to choose. You get to tailor-make your life, because as a man thinks, so is he. You get to choose those thoughts that you feel are going to be not only beneficial, but concrete, solid enough to carry you through this life under any circumstances. It's the mentality that carries people through. You see certain people, you just think, wow, how did you make it that far? Their mentality. They've created this mentality that they won't be stopped, that they will never give up, that they will, whatever gets thrown at them, that they can handle it. Whatever it is that is in their life, you know, the strongest people on earth look at sacrifice as a positive thing. The strongest people on earth look at problems as opportunities. The strongest people on earth look at opposition as something like a growth stepping stone. They're not scared, timid, and shy. They don't duck and cover and hide. They don't try to avoid. They say, oh, good, awesome. You know, there was a man in the Bible, I forgot his name, that he was old. Like, I don't know, something, you know, he was older. He was an older gentleman. And there was like this challenge that was coming. And he was very eager. He's like, I know I'm old, but put me in. Like, I'll take this on. I could do it, because it wasn't through strength that man had wisdom. He said, it's not by my strength that I'm going to overcome this. It's by my faith. And I have faith. I have faith that God is with me. I have faith that God will get me through. I have faith that all these Goliaths will be slain. They look big and tough and strong to other people. They look scary to other people. It looks impossible to other people. And that's why they never want to venture off and face off with them. But this man had kind of sorted out his thoughts, sorted out his life. How the Bible puts it, work out your salvation. Work it out. Work it out. It's a puzzle. Work it out. Study and show yourself approved. Work it out. Put things where they belong. Study yourself. Evaluate yourself, the Bible says, to see if you're in the faith. Like, see where you're at. It's so important that we understand where we're falling short, so that we can now pinpoint where we are falling short, so that now we can pray about it and we can see what it is that we need. Because if you're sick, you go and study what it is that you have. Okay, I'm coughing. You're not going to get something that doesn't apply to a cough. You're going to get cough syrup or something like that, right? There's something that applies to that problem. So you're not going to get something like rubbing alcohol for a cough problem. So we got to see what's going on in our hearts, see what's going on, the toxicity, the darkness, the problems, the insecurities, the lack of confidence. Okay, where's this stemming from? You got to see where you got to dig. Where is this coming from? It doesn't go away until you address it, until you go up to that and you really try to dissect it, and you pray about it, and you stay there, and you get paper and pen, and you write stuff down that you feel, and then you just go about it. And guess what? God's going to give you the tools and the resources to know what to do. Because the longer you stay there, things will start to come to you as to how to resolve this situation. And then you work it out from that point. And it's going to take patience, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take, strategy and all of this stuff to overcome these things that are in your life that you don't want in your life, but you want to overcome it. But getting on your phone and avoiding it and ignoring it and going about life, repetition of doing things that have nothing to do with that's not going to go away. It doesn't magically go away. It goes away because you intentionally go after it, and you're like, okay, you're the mountain. And the Bible says right here that I can move mountains. Perfect. Opportunity. It's an opportunity to exercise my faith. And so you start to command it to leave. Look, it's not budging. It's not leaving. Okay. Instead of getting disappointed, instead of getting sad and mopey and, oh man, I don't know why it doesn't work for me. Well, evidently, my faith is small. So let me work on that. Something to work on. Something, you don't go to the gym one time, do a couple of curls and come out a bodybuilder. It takes a long time to build up to that, right? So we have to be grounded enough to understand the reality of the situation, that things take time and things take patience and perseverance, and you're going to have to work at it, and it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth the fight. The fight is worth it because you are what you're fighting for, your soul, your spirit. You understand, when you tag team with God, you can attack anything and everything's got to bow. But the fact is that it's mainly laziness. That's mainly what it is, laziness that's in the way. It's like, yeah, bro, man, I'm pretty sure I can win that battle with, man, that's gonna take months, or that's gonna take a long time, or man, that's a big thing, man. I've been dealing with this since I was a child. They molested me, they did this, they did that. You think I really want to deal with that, man? There's so much there's so much baggage. I'd rather just close the door and not deal with it. It's like it's never gonna go away until you face off with that quote unquote fear, trauma, problem, darkness. And let me pop the illusion for you. Okay, all of that fear or whatever, it's nothing more than a feeling. Are you scared of feelings? If I put you in a feeling of feeling fear, feel it. Feel the feeling and get to know it well enough to say there's nothing to be scared of. Like, turn this on while you're there and start to really make sense out of the situation. What am I really scared of? What is it about you that's really got me hooked? Like I can't move, like I'm paralyzed. Like, get to know what it is that is so scary. Ask those questions. Ask those questions. You know, is there something behind you? Is there something that you're holding? Is there something that you're gonna do? If it's a threat, can you really carry it out? Am I really gonna die? Am I really gonna die if I, like, because that's a threat. Oh, you're gonna die if you do this, or it's gonna be painful. What kind of pain are we talking about here? Is it good pain or bad pain? Can I handle it? Is it gonna result in something good? Good pain means that when you go through it, you get healed in the end. That's worth it. Bad pain is, but if I'm working towards something positive, why would it be bad? I only get bad pain when I do bad things. Like, work it out. Work it out. You're going to get to see the results the more you do it. You can't be scared of yourself. You can't be scared of the things that live inside of you as these feelings or whatever. Everything can get dealt with God. Everything. But we have to have the attitude. We have to have the mentality to address it and not be scared. Okay. If you're scared, ask for boldness. If you're scared, ask for courage. If you're scared, ask for God to take it away. Like, it can all be worked out. It's laziness. I blame it on laziness. Because people they see a problem, they're like, it's going to take too much energy to go and solve that. No, just leave it there. Laziness. That's why God called out a wicked, lazy servant that didn't want to use his talents. Called him wicked, called him lazy. And then sent him to go to the place of gnashing of teeth. Darkness and gnashing of teeth. Some would say that's hell. So come on, guys. Let's get it together. Because you're worth fighting for. Your future is worth fighting for. What's going on inside of you is not bigger than you. It just wants you to think it is. Understand that these feelings, these things, they have a voice. Most likely it's spiritual. And most likely it wants to make you feel like it has you and it owns you and it's bigger than you and this and that. Come on, guys. We can overcome. We can really overcome. You can be more than a conqueror if you work it out. If you work it out. Just start to pray to Jesus. Ask Jesus. And don't be so finicky, so quick to give up and tap out and say, well, it's too hard. It's how you're looking at it. That's why you give up so easily. Your perception of everything is everything. Right? Some people see, well, okay, it's Democrats that say, don't let, they said this. This is one of their slogans or whatever. They said, don't let a crisis go to waste. I mean, that means something to them. My imagination soars with what that could mean. But what it mean, what I'm using it for in this illustration is they're taking something bad and they want to utilize it for gain. Right? Crisis is bad, but they said don't let it go to waste, meaning put it to use. Right? Use it. And I'm saying in this video, okay, is there's a lot of negative things coming at you on a daily basis. Not just you, everybody. And instead of taking on a victim mentality and a poor attitude, right, there's better ways to go about it. And you get to invent the way that you're going to overcome with your own mind. You can make yourself out to be whatever you want because this is yours. This is your real estate and your property. So if you want to be Superman up here, you could be. That's who you are. If you want to say that's who you are, then you can tell yourself, I'm Superman and I can handle anything. People get through life by telling themselves stories up here that help them to overcome whatever's in their way, right? They tell themselves, I can or I can't. And both are usually right. When they say I can, it's because they believe that up here they've been telling themselves, there's nothing I can't do. Jesus said, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But it's like, it goes back to believing, meditating, you know? God bless you guys.